Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Intimacy Lab. I want you to pause for just a moment and think about this. Have you ever wondered what a woman does almost effortlessly when she's truly in love with a man? Not just infatuated, not just attached, but deeply, genuinely invested in him. Love is not always loud. Sometimes it's whispered in the way she chooses him quietly, over and over again, in the smallest gestures he may never even notice, unless he knows how to look. You see, we live in a world where men are often told to watch for grand declarations, for obvious signs, a romantic dinner, an expensive gift, a dramatic proclamation. But that's not where the truth lies. The truth of her love lives in subtleties, how she makes space for his thoughts, how she tunes into his silences, how she offers her softness in the moments when life is hard for him. These are things she does not for any man, but only for the one she truly loves. In this video, we're going to open that quiet door. We're going to talk about the 6 subtle things women only do when their heart is truly invested. These are not tricks, not games. They are small but profound invitations into intimacy that often go unseen. When you learn to notice these things, you will begin to see how love speaks not just in words, but in actions so gentle you could almost miss them unless you are truly present. As we begin to explore these subtle things a woman does only for the man she truly loves, I want you to lean in, not just with your ears, but with your presence. Because these things, they are not loud, they are not always obvious, but they are meaningful. And when you learn to recognize them, you will start to experience connection in a completely different way. Let's first ask, why does this matter for a man? Because so many men today are starved for genuine connection, but unsure how to recognize it when it's offered. The world teaches you to look for grand gestures, but the language of love is often spoken in whispers, gestures that reveal care, attunement, and emotional safety. These are precious gifts. When a woman is truly in love, her actions reflect a kind of vulnerability and tenderness that she does not give lightly. Recognizing these gifts is not just about receiving her love, it's about honoring it. So, let's begin with one of the most telling yet easily overlooked signs. She creates emotional space for you to be fully yourself. When a woman truly loves you, she doesn't try to mold you into an image she prefers. She listens not to fix you, but to understand you. You'll notice this in how she responds when you speak about your fears, your doubts, your hopes, even the parts of you that are unfinished or unsure. Instead of turning away or minimizing what you feel, she opens a space where you can simply exist as you are without judgment. This is rare. Many women may tolerate a man, accommodate him, even support him, but only a woman who loves you deeply will embrace the totality of you, your strengths and your vulnerabilities, with warmth and respect. You may feel this in the way she allows your silences. Not all conversations need to be filled with words when a woman loves you. She becomes comfortable in the quiet moments, sitting beside you without pushing for explanations or answers. Her presence itself becomes an invitation for you to breathe, to soften, to let your guard down. This kind of emotional space is sacred, and it is subtle. If you find that she's offering this to you, understand that she is telling you, I see you even in your silence. I accept you there too. And then there's another beautiful sign that a woman's love has taken root. She begins to nurture your well-being in quiet, personal ways that feel tailored just for you. This isn't about obligation or routine care. This is about those small moments when she remembers your preferences, not because you demanded it or expected it, but because she notices you. She might prepare your favorite meal on a day when you've had a tough meeting. She might bring you coffee exactly the way you like it without asking, just because she's attuned to your rhythms. She will gently remind you to rest when you're overworking, not as a criticism, but as an act of care for the man she loves. In these small gestures, she is saying, I hold you in mind even when you're not here. That's intimacy. It's not the grand romantic getaway that reveals the depth of a woman's love. It's the way she folds your shirts because she knows how you like them, or how she senses when you're mentally exhausted, and invites you to rest without needing to explain. And notice this too, she doesn't do these things for every man. When a woman loves, she becomes intimately aware of your unique needs, your particular stresses, your small pleasures. Her attention is not generic, it's personal. She studies you in a way that lets you feel known, and when we feel known, we feel safe. Now, what makes this all so precious is that these things cannot be forced. She can't be compelled into caring this way, and no amount of performance or posturing on your part will make her offer it. It arises naturally when her heart is truly open to you. I want you to think about this carefully because as men, we can sometimes take these acts of love for granted or miss them entirely. We think love must be dramatic, but often it is these quiet acts of service that carry the deepest emotional weight. These are moments when her attention itself becomes a gift, and so as we continue, I invite you to reflect gently. Has she created this emotional space for you? Does she nurture your well-being in ways that feel thoughtful, precise, almost intuitive? If so, you may already be receiving the subtle language of her loves, and you may never have fully recognized it until now. And as you begin to notice those quiet gestures, a woman creating emotional space for you, nurturing your well-being in ways so personal they almost seem invisible to others, you begin to realize love itself is never generic. It's deeply attuned, highly particular. This is why when a woman truly loves a man, she becomes deeply invested in his growth and evolution in ways that feel supportive rather than controlling. You see, love at its highest expression is not about keeping you comfortable. It's about wanting to see you expand. When she loves you, she doesn't just admire your potential from afar. She participates in it quietly. She encourages your ambitions, but she does so in a way that feels like a soft wind at your back, not a loud voice telling you what you should do. It's in how she celebrates your victories sometimes more than you do yourself, and how she gently offers reflection when you're lost or uncertain. And notice something subtle here. She's not interested in controlling your path, but she's present for your process. When you mention an idea or a dream, she remembers it, revisits it with you, asks how it's going not because she needs an answer, but because your aspirations matter to her, simply because they matter to you. A woman who loves you in this way holds your evolution in mind and walks beside you as you move forward, never rushing you, never dragging you, just present always. This is a profound sign of her love, and yet it's easy to overlook if you think support always looks like obvious praise or practical help. Sometimes it's the woman who quietly says, "I believe in you," even before you do. She is patient with your process because she loves not only the man you are now, but the man you are becoming. And then there is another deeply intimate sign that reveals itself in quiet moments. She lets down her own emotional armor and becomes vulnerable with you in ways she does not with anyone else. Vulnerability is difficult for all of us. It requires trust, a sense of safety, an openness that says I can risk showing you who I really am. When a woman truly loves you, she allows you to witness her softness, her fears, her insecurities, even those parts of her that she might normally hide from the world. This might show up as her sharing a private story from her past that she hasn't told anyone else, or revealing a worry that she keeps carefully tucked away. It may be that she cries in front of you not because she is weak, but because you have become her emotional home, a place where she feels safe enough to shed the strong exterior the world often demands from her, and this is not a performance. Vulnerability from a woman in love is authentic, unpolished, tender. You may notice that she allows you to see her in moments when her guard is completely down, when she's anxious about her own future, when she's confused, when she's deeply moved. These moments are sacred. She is saying, with you, I can be real. With you, I don't have to pretend. It's in this space that intimacy flourishes, not in perfection, but in shared humanity. She is inviting you to meet her in a place beyond the surface, beyond appearances, beyond roles. And here is something to reflect on deeply. When a woman chooses to show her vulnerable self to you, she is expressing the deepest form of love, trust. This is not something she would offer to just anyone. It's reserved for the man who has earned not just her affection, but her confidence, the one who makes her feel safe enough to be fully human. So as you think about this, ask yourself, is she invested in my growth in this way? Does she hold space for my evolution gently, supportively, without pressure? And has she begun to show me parts of herself that feel unguarded, open, and tender? If so, you are witnessing how love unfolds not just in romance, but in presence, in participation, in vulnerability. And remember this, these are not dramatic acts. You won't always see them shouted from the rooftops. But you will feel them in the way she looks at you when you're talking about your dreams, in the softness she allows herself to have when you're together behind closed doors, in the quiet confidence with which she stands by your side as you navigate your life's uncertainties. Love is a dance of mirrors, we reflect each other. And when a woman loves you, she holds up a mirror not just to who you are, but to who you are capable of becoming, and she does so gently, without judgment, with immense care. As we continue this conversation, I want you to notice something that perhaps you've already started to feel. Love is not about how loudly someone declares it. It's about how deeply they live it, how consistently they choose it, in moments big and small. And this brings us to another delicate, often misunderstood sign of love. She begins to include you in her inner world, sharing her rituals, her routines, her sacred spaces, not because she needs you to fix anything, but because she wants you to know her life. A woman in love wants you to be part of her ordinary. She lets you see her when she's not on, when she's not performing the role of girlfriend, wife, or partner. Maybe it's how she asks you to join her on a walk she usually takes alone, or how she invites you into her family rituals, her friendships, her creative passions. It's in how she shares her worries about work or her excitement about a hobby that lights her up, not because she expects you to solve it, but because letting you witness it is her way of weaving you into her tapestry. These are the invisible threads that create a sense of us, and make no mistake, she does not extend this invitation to every man. She might date casually, she might enjoy company, but when she brings you into her real world, the messy, unfiltered daily life, that's where love lives. She is saying, I trust you with my ordinary, not just my extraordinary, and notice how this invitation asks something of you as well. It's not just about being there for the big moments. It's about showing up in the spaces where life is unremarkable. Love deepens not when you perform at your best, but when you're able to stay present when nothing dramatic is happening. Can you walk beside her in her world without needing to be the hero? That is when love becomes real. And finally, perhaps the most intimate, most transformative of the six, she allows you to influence her. This is subtle but profound. When a woman truly loves you, she lets herself be moved by you. Not controlled, not overruled, but influenced. She listens to your perspective, she considers your needs, and sometimes she even shifts her own views or behaviors because you matter that much to her. This isn't about dominance or control, it's about mutuality. She takes you into account when she makes decisions, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Maybe she adjusts how she handles conflict after seeing how it affects you. Maybe she softens her defenses because she recognizes that your intention is to understand, not to win. Maybe she takes your feedback seriously, even when it's hard to hear, because your insight matters to her. Influence is one of the most underappreciated signs of love because it's so quiet, but it is, in fact, the highest form of trust. To allow yourself to be shaped by another is to acknowledge you are important enough to impact me. And for a woman whose independence and self-sufficiency are often part of her identity, this is no small thing. When a woman loves you, she doesn't just accommodate you. She lets you touch her world in a way that makes it slightly different, slightly softer, slightly more ours. And in doing so, she invites you to do the same, to be influenced by her, to become more whole through the relationship you are building together. So, as you reflect, I invite you to consider, has she begun to bring you into her world in this intimate, everyday way? Does she let you touch her life not just physically, but emotionally, intellectually, spiritually? And perhaps most tenderly, has she let herself be moved by you, influenced by your presence, your words, your needs? These are the quiet waters where love runs deep. They do not announce themselves loudly, but if you attune yourself, you will see this is where the real dance of intimacy begins. It's not about possession, it's about integration. Two lives, two worlds slowly and deliberately weaving together. Not perfectly, not completely, but beautifully, imperfectly, humanly. And so here we are as we arrive together at the end of this quiet exploration. I want you to take a deep breath and really feel what we've just uncovered. When a woman truly loves you, it isn't always in the ways you've been taught to look for. Her love lives in small, almost invisible spaces, in how she creates emotional room for you to exist as you are, in how she nurtures your well-being without needing recognition, in her quiet commitment to your growth and evolution, in the brave softness she reveals when she allows herself to be vulnerable before you, in how she invites you into her world, sharing with you the ordinary, the personal, the rituals that define her life, and ultimately, in how she lets herself be influenced by you, allowing your presence to shape her just as hers shapes you. These are not performances, these are not things she does for every man who crosses her path. They are subtle, tender offerings, a language of love that asks not just for your presence, but for your attention, your attunement, your respect. And that's why this matters so much, because you too have a role here. Love, in its truest form, is never one way. It's a dance, a movement between two people where each allows themselves to be seen, to be shaped, to be affected by the other. When you recognize these quiet signs of her love, you honor the depth of her offering. You step into a space where intimacy is not about grand gestures, but about the courage to be real every day. And perhaps this is where it becomes most personal for you. Have you noticed her inviting you to breathe into your silences, to rest when you're tired, to feel supported even when you haven't asked? Have you felt her quietly standing beside you as you speak about your dreams, her belief in you deeper than you've allowed yourself to feel? Have you caught those rare glimpses of her unguarded self when she lets you see the woman behind the strength? Has she woven you into her daily world, not just as a guest but as a participant? And have you felt how your words, your needs, your perspective gently influence her choices, her thoughts, her heart? These moments matter, and if you see them, if you feel them, cherish them. Because love like this, love expressed through the subtle, the thoughtful, the quiet is rare. It's precious. It's an invitation to create a relationship built not on performance or expectation, but on real presence, trust, and mutual care. So I want to leave you with this. If you've recognized yourself and your relationship in this conversation, let it be a mirror and a guide. Let it inspire you to notice more deeply, to honor these quiet expressions of love, and to reflect them back in kind. Remember that love is not a prize you win. It's a practice, a way of being with someone that requires sensitivity, patience, and a willingness to show up, not just when it's easy or exciting, but when it's ordinary and real. And if you're watching this and you feel that you haven't yet experienced this kind of love, let this conversation be a map. Let it show you what is possible when you find or build a relationship rooted in genuine intimacy, not just attraction or convenience. You deserve a love that whispers in these quiet, tender ways, and when you recognize it, nurture it. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced these subtle signs of love before? Have you noticed them or perhaps missed them? Share your story in the comments. I always read them, and I truly value the vulnerability and honesty you bring to this space. And if this conversation has resonated with you, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Intimacy Lab, and join our growing community where we talk about love, relationships, and connection with real honesty and care. Here's to seeing the invisible, to honoring the quiet love that surrounds us when we are ready to look, to showing up with presence, curiosity, and respect, and to remembering that love's deepest language is always subtle. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you soon.